Morning and evening, everyone. Those of you who are new, very warm welcome. Let's hope for this video it's streaming correctly. Last night it wasn't streaming too well, so I'll wait for people to directly connect. Otherwise, I'll have to record them. I do really want to do them live so that everyone can connect and ask questions. Now, I've already tuned into the energy for Libra. We're going to be covering Libra. We're going to get all the signs done live, providing it streams correctly. So we're already having the aspect of Mercury retrograde, the shadow aspect, and I believe it's going to be pretty heavy, and that's because already we are experiencing technology-related issues. The frequency is coming through, and Librans read's pretty interesting. Now, where would I start? Where do I start, Libra? I'll wait for people to connect. A very warm welcome. Yeah, not doing too bad. Just trying to get everything done prior to Mercury retrograde. Now, do be mindful that is occurring on around the 5th and the 6th, but we've already got the shadow aspects. So, you know, everyone's really advised at this point to get any aspects of paperwork done, any aspects of payments, you know, read your emails, get everything on track. Anything that's been lagging, you haven't been able to get up to date with, try and do that. Because what you're going to find is, and it's funny, I'm sensing a lot of people spring cleaning. And I tuned into it this morning, and it's almost like, you know, when you're preparing for something coming. But the strange thing is, it's like not all of us are knowing what's coming. And it can even be environmental, where we may be cooped up at home and we're preparing that surface for us being at home. So it can be a time frame when all of us collectively either, you know, aren't going to have time to do the basics at home because we are going to be super busy. So if we're spring cleaning, what you're going to find is it's going to be a very busy month. I am feeling more for the Libran energies. It's going to be fine-tuning things, dealing with tasks, dealing with external situations. That is going to be pretty arduous, to be quite honest. You're going to have patience, but I'm also seeing, to a degree, you're coming to a place where you're seeing there's a method to the madness. You're aware of it. You understand other people's side of the fence. But you're also, your throat chakra is going to be quite activated. And it's interesting because almost all the chakra cards that are coming out are throat chakra. I'm seeing you guys trying to find the balance. Now, that can be the balance within your own life, the balance with people's expectations, you know, moving towards your goals, can be moving towards, you know, your love interest and how that's all going to look, how it's going to balance. Some of you also may be to the point where you're looking at things and you're thinking, okay, how is this potentially possible? What do I need to do on my side of the fence to help that situation? You're also going to find, interestingly enough, there's an aspect coming through on the 1st. And it can denote if you're on the fence about something and you're not quite invested in it and you're feeling suppressed as a human being or an energy in your own right. And that's for everyone collectively. There can be 360 tower moments on the 1st of March. So interestingly enough, you may already be experiencing an aspect of that frequency where it can be the Aries energy, where with your wounds, you're thinking, hey, you know, I'm uniquely me and this is me. And so it's positive, but it's negative, because if we're too far into it and we're too far into our ego and the pain body experience, what can actually happen is we can trigger each other. So it's almost understanding that there is a method to the madness, but having the patience to go through that frequency and trying to come out of that in the highest vibration. Okay. Oh, it's interesting you mentioned Scorpio, because that read is really interesting. Wait for that one, because when I tuned into it, it was like, oh, wow, okay. We'll do Libra first. Now, what is coming through, the downloads that I've had, there are going to be things that are going to come 316. That's going to be a change overnight. You can be experiencing dynamics within your own life or within your relationship, or in general, you're going to notice some things are going to do a 360, but it's more for the positive, and you're sort of scratching your head saying, hey, you know, wow, that was super quick. And it won't need to be anything you're doing. Now, Mercury retrograde can be a time frame when people from the past can come back. But it's also because the fence sitters will be leaving situations that may be for two reasons. Now, last year we had a similar thing happen, but I do feel the frequency very different on this occasion. If you're in your truth and you're on the right path, it will continue. You may hit some snags in the road with communication, and it can be going over old ground energetically to communicate your truth and understand what the past was, where you're going, what the future is. But all of us collectively won't quite know what that is. Having the nodes in Cancer and Capricorn, we have for the last 3 months been looking at our foundation, looking at how we're moving forward, looking at our finances, and any area we're needing to take accountability. This did happen last year as well. It was almost like the readings were coming through very singularly. I'm not sensing that they're coming through as a singular energy, as in there's no love interest or no potential, but it's rather there are things where you're not being codependent. You're trying to remove that frequency and you're doing things on your side of the fence that you know you can actually address. And then on the other side of the fence, you do know it's completely out of your control. When we do come down to divine timing, it very much can be a frequency of what you can achieve on your side of the fence, and that can be purging and releasing things to open the new chapters and doors. But it can be anything to closing that door correctly. And with the total eclipse in January, a lot of that is a process. You know, it doesn't happen overnight. Ending chapters, ending scenarios, creating that foundation, that frequency within that moon is going to take up to 6 months. Some of the energies that are happening with the probably by about the 20th moving through to the 31st, there is an undertone of frequency that yet again will be another 6-month trend. Now, it's almost like we can look at this last week as being super important moving into March. The reason being is by April, we do have retrograde again. So we've got Mercury retrograde. As Mercury does go direct in April, we have other planets going retrograde. So we need to be on the ball with situations, and especially with Chiron moving into Aries. What it means is with our wounds and our energy and the way we deal with it can be a little bit more aggressive. So if somebody is triggering us, we can either be really direct in the high frequency, and we can take accountability for it on our side and really communicate our truth, but trying to use that person's language. But it's never that we gain closure from that person. We gain it from seeing that the scenarios are changing. And that's going to be really important for Libra this month, is understanding that that wound can come up. And it is actually your shadow sign. So you can be in your shadow quite a bit when it does come to your wounds. At the higher frequency, what I was seeing collectively was it's almost like this is, how would I put it? It's a Libra frequency, but it's almost like beginning to get comfortable with it being off kilter and understanding there's a process to it. Many Librans at the moment are wanting that balance, but they're having to really adjust into the frequency of being imbalanced and it's still being okay. You know, a lot of what the paradigms have been, especially within the traits of each zodiac sign, and we're never completely one zodiac sign. You know, you've got your sun sign, you've got your ascendant, etc. You know, looking at that can give you an overview of who you are. So on a very general level, we tend to like it balanced, but we're happy for that scale to be imbalanced, providing there's a method to the madness. But I do feel some of you may be feeling it's way like this. And yes, there is a method to the madness, but something needs to kind of balance out in order for you to feel comfortable. But it's almost like you're going to have to learn to be in the eye of the storm and understand that as long as you can get yourself grounded, you're going to cope with the month. Let's see. Financially speaking, I'm seeing you're probably going to be more busy this month. You're also going to get some downloads as to fine-tuning certain situations. So depending upon, you know, what sort of work you've got, it can be if you're in the field of communication, you're going to get more work, but you're going to have to really read the fine print. So what I mean by that, for instance, if you're you know, working through the internet, double check your emails, backtrack. The communication factor, it's going to fine-tune it to a point where there will be lots of communication coming in, lots more work. And the interesting thing is Mercury does actually rule that domain, but it's coming up in the upright. So it may be you find a savvy way to communicate, and it can be very different. It could be something to the degree of emails. It could be, you know, standing in your truth and showing people who you are. You know, there's 90% of body language doesn't have to come from throat chakra, but it might be even, you know, in your work, you're assessing ways you can do this moving after Mercury retrograde and how you can fine-tune that situation. So if you are in a communication-related domain in your employment, you might be assessing how you communicate. You might be super cautious about how you are speaking. You're going to have to really have control of that this month. I feel it's quite important. I do feel you're going to relate to people individually within your workplace. And the key is, if you're looking for work, it's going to be really checking those emails, getting them out to a point where you're networking. And I'm hearing word of mouth, you're actually going to get a position for those of you who are unemployed. When it does come to your finances, I do feel you need to communicate the truth in relation to it. And it may be that you're communicating your fears or your goals, or you're having a bit of self-talk in relation to this, and this can be blocking your finance. So again, when we are blocked, it can actually, it's the way we speak about our finances. So sometimes it can be that fear-based frequency that's coming up. That's actually something for you to assess. And a download that I had is there's a lot of childhood wounds coming up for Libra at the moment. And it can be old trigger points, abandonment-related issues, you know, balance and what life means, how you have actually been the go-to person, and now it's like you wish to retire, and you're like, you know, trying to find that new version of yourself, but understanding it's always going to be an aspect of who you are. But I do feel be very cautious about how you are communicating, because I do feel it's going to hinder the manifestation of the cash component. But I do feel as though it is going to change for you. You're really going to have some aha moments, though. Wow. On the financial front, it's like you've got some plans. Now, I'm feeling as though you're compassionate to given situations. I also feel you need to give yourself a break when it does come to what is going on right now. The transits are making things quite difficult, okay? They're also showing you what you can do to change the scenarios. Now, it's quite a karmic time at the moment energetically to tie up loose ends, to change the way we're doing things. And it really is very much connected to last year, but it's applying it in the 3D this year. Just be careful that you don't get triggered and you don't use vices to actually cope with the stress-related dynamics. I do feel as though there is going to be a celebration. There can be a win in relation to finances. But I do feel there's going to be an announcement, and it is something to do with what you're wanting to do with the money. But you're being very clear. If you're partnered, you're being very straightforward with your communication. You are communicating truthfully. They do understand your side of the fence, so things will balance out. There's an off-kilter energy at the moment, and you're trying to manifest something in when it does come to family. So it can be more balanced within family, but it's feeling off-kilter. Again, you know, I did mention in previous videos that especially for the younger generation, they are going through an aspect of an awakening. So it can be a lot of things that you actually have dealt with in your life. They're now experiencing that in a sense of a vibration, and you're seeing their side of the fence. But you're also, it can be really triggering you and exhausting you. So you're trying to be quite patient with it. Be very careful with your digestion at the moment, and it can be that you need to do a balance within the chakra. It does feel that there could be an external situation, either within your family, it can be on your side of the fence, partner side of the fence, it can be, you know, from your DNA family, but in general, in the domain of family, there can be a lack of an ability to bring something forward because there's a block on the road. Again, it is a temporary frequency, but it can be causing some frustrations. And it's preventing your creativity. So it's really hindering it until this can get balanced. It can be people working together as a team. And again, this time frame is going to be super difficult for that to happen. Although you are seeing where the issues are and you're trying to directly deal with it in some shape or form. If it's your kin, because I was saying childhood-related dynamics, some of you that may be directly relevant, you'll be addressing it in some shape or form, and I am seeing a need for a meeting. Okay, so something's going to come through 60, and I do feel this is by mid-month. You sort of don't know this is coming, that it's inevitable, but it's about when it comes, how it comes about. I am feeling, providing you can stay grounded in the eye of the storm, everything will unfold in front of you and it will make a lot more sense. Yeah, there's so many things going on. It's like two worlds going on at the moment. But there's going to be some change within the situation to balance it, and there's going to be teamwork. So I do feel that's going to sort. The conflict at the moment is having time for pleasure. It's like all work, no play makes for a dull day. I do feel as though you're needing to have a little bit of downtime and have that time where you can actually balance yourself. What you're not seeing is this is coming. Emotional balance is coming, but you're not feeling it because there's a lot going on. And March will be really busy. Some things aren't being said. Now, this can be in your overall energy. Some things you're preventing yourself from saying because you're waiting for things to change. For some reason as well, it may be you don't feel as intimate as you would like to within your connection if you're partnered, but you might not be feeling your whole collective self right now. So with the energy, it's like you want to get your sexy back, you want to get your sassy, but you're so accountable in different areas. It's like you're actually critiquing yourself. You're looking at yourself and you're thinking, gosh, I'm not quite myself right now. That might be at a health level. It may be at a spiritual, emotional level. It may be at a lackluster level, but there's something that will feel that you're energetically giving too much to one area and it's really depleting your frequency. So again, just be mindful. It is temporary. Follow your gut instincts when it comes to what to do. If you feel you need a break and you need to do something important for yourself, it can be something as simple as a bath, something as simple as, you know, going for a walk or going to the gym. But try and manage your stress levels. But it's also having a quiet time. So it could be sitting in the garden or sitting there a pot plant, anything that's just a bit of you time. You know the deal between the connection. So if you're in a partnership, you know the connection. I do see you guys having a windfall of cash coming in, but I also see you being very careful because there's an end project of what you're wanting to put your money towards. So again, I'm seeing there's a method to the madness. It's like looking at the bigger picture and knowing what you have to bring in. Bear with me. There was a lot of downloads I had with you guys. I'm seeing a lot of paperwork. Okay, overall energy for romance for couples and singles. There's going to be a celebration of some degree. So, you know, whatever this is, whatever's changing, this whole situation is going to bring about a new chapter for you guys. And again, I'm saying that you're not going to be, you won't see this coming. There has been so much going on that you just simply won't see this coming. So however it stands for you, there is going to be a sense of a celebration. Now, this could be a birthday party that you attend, but it feels separate. It feels directly connected to this love interest. There's going to be some sense of a manifestation previously had coming to fruition for you. Again, I am seeing this could be near the Libra moon. Again, with the Pisces, it can denote romance, but it's also about taking the rose-colored glasses off, really following your gut instincts when it comes to love, okay? And again, the whole key is trying to balance this family domain or what you connect to your tribe. And it can even be the world you wish to share with this person, trying to get everything on your side and their side balanced. So it's almost like it's all work, no play. But It can be there's a reason for an inability for that connection to intimately be there at this point, but it's not that it's not. There's a given reason. There is the new chapter coming between the both of you. So this could be, you know, whoever you're inquiring about in general, but the heaviest energy is that something new is coming through for you, and it's the new chapter. It doesn't have to be with a new individual. I'm actually sensing quite the contrary. Some of it, again, it's like you already know what the truth is. So it's like more a team environment I'm seeing coming about. It's not, you're sensing as though due to the process that you can't just look at your side of the fence. There's many individuals involved in the path forward, and that can be at your work. It can be within the romantic connection. There's external situations that are being taken into consideration. You're being fair within the situation. You do believe in yourself, and you do believe in your path forward, and especially this person you're inquiring about. You've got to trust in the process that, you know, by being grateful for every given day and anything that's coming towards you, that it's all divinely guided. I feel it's going to give you more peace and coping with frequency. If you can come to a place that you can feel quiet and calm, what you'll find is on the other side of it, and I am seeing this is moving into, why do I keep saying Aquarius? I'll write a note under the video. There is an energy of a transit with one of the planets that is correlating with Aquarius for some reason coming through for you guys. I'm just feeling as though by mid-month, the energy is going to be very different, but you're going to have more sense of direction. I'm saying within 3 to 4 weeks. Again, there can be, for some of you, it could be a very fertile month. So if you're not wanting to, and this is collectively for everyone, it is one of those months that can bode that well. Can bode that way, I should say. Hi, Melody. Oh, very funny. Okay, I'm going to pull a separate section, and that's for those of you who are inquiring about a new person. Within the connection, however, I am feeling as though there is unconditional love here, okay? And so you're trying to come back to the new version of yourself. You keep trying to come back to that. You know, there's lots of aha moments, epiphany moments. There's a lot of crown chakra activation going on. But a lot of the chakras are clearing for you. So anything that's actually coming through to you, a very warm welcome, Dal. Anything that's coming through to you, it's like it's bringing up that old frequency, but it's actually clearing it. I mean, look at how the chakra is clearing through. It's all the way from the belly moving up, and it's beaming up where it's actually clearing it. So if you're having trigger points, especially within this love domain, I'm feeling it's assisting you with clearing those old paradigms and being open to the new. It's just a bit challenging for you actually moving through the frequency. Now, there are a particular group of you who, how do I put it? Okay, how do I explain this? It's a given that this connection's there. No matter what you do, it's always going to be there. So you've succumbed to that frequency knowing that that's a reality, and you've got the card in reverse. So you're already in it and working together as a team. For those of you that's relevant, and it can be a twin flame. So for some of you, very separately, I'm going to be doing the twin flame video regardless, and that's going to be for all the zodiac signs. But there is a potential energy where this has been an ongoing thing and you're working together. So spiritually, be it you're together or you're not, you're always in duality when you energetically are working on your side of the fence. There is that frequency that for a pocket of you, you are working together, okay? For others of you, it can be you feel you can't purge this person and they're always in your energy stream. But you're trying to control those emotions. Yes, the waters run deep, but a lot of us at the moment are dealing with the 3D. and it feels very dense, very heavy energy. So when we're dealing with a 3D, what tends to happen is we're bombarded with situations, and before we even have a time to whinge, bang, there's another situation in front of you. So that's why it's so dense in that 3D at the moment. Last year, as I said, it was all the 5D, the spirituality, the purging. Now we are trying to move those things forward. Those of you, I'll read a comment first. Hello from Grace. Yeah, I do think Librans are going to be doing better. We are different. We have transformed. It's just about getting grounded, but it's about leaving the energy on other people's plates where it belongs to them and trying to just keep focusing back on your own. It's almost like we're learning not to be Libras, which is super hard. But it's purging that process and coming to that whole self, and things do tend to balance out. Spiritual connections will always return, but if we understand, it's almost like the key to soulmate twin flame journey is doing the work. So if you can do the work on yourself, you can fast track your journey. And it's sort of one of those relationships that you can't quite explain, because your ego is telling you, no, it's too 3D. This is a normal relationship. And traditionally speaking, breakups break up. It comes back, but it's because you both need to purge and learn and grow until you can get to that balance point. It's like an imbalanced scale. And once that scale is balanced and you control your side, they control theirs, it's equal. Okay, so those of you who are on the fence and considering a new love option, check your side of the fence, see if your heart's open, because naturally speaking, you actually manifest it. You manifest the frequency coming forward. You've got to be in your own light and shining, and it does come towards you quite naturally without looking. Some situations on your side of the fence, for those of you who are inquiring about new love, there needs to be an energy of you've done the rebuild on your side. And again, I am seeing something on another person's side of the fence that they're physically going through it. So this person who you're inquiring about may be going through a divorce, a separation, a finalization of a chapter to be able to join you. And so it's about waiting for that factor to kind of resolve itself. And sometimes when you're waiting for something to resolve, you energetically feel you're ready for that and you take it however it comes. Do be mindful you're taking another energy of residue frequency, and then you're expecting that person energetically to be in alignment, and they can't because they're still purging that situation. So you really need to be able to be a very separate energy while that person's traveling through that frequency without getting jealous, triggered, or fretful, because it's actually not about you. So it's quite a difficult energy. So be mindful that you're being fair to yourself while you're waiting for that situation to kind of resolve. It can be that you're up in your head quite a bit and you're trying to use your intuition. Be careful about headaches moving into March. Whoever this person is coming towards you guys that you're waiting to come forward, there is going to be a strengthening bond. But again, I'm seeing almost a tunnel effect. Try to focus on the end result and, deal with the process in the meantime. Know that it's a process, and you're ready for anything that comes. So don't be scared. A lot of the times the heart chakra, I feel these two cards are relevant for those of you who are wanting new to come in. And that can be couples and singles regardless. It's, we're always needing that new frequency coming through. And even in the couples energy, a new chapter's coming. So it's the same thing coming through. But it's about knowing that you can handle anything that's coming and having your heart open to have the compassion, but also looking after yourself as well. Does that make sense? Any questions while I'm here and cleaning up? Okay, been in a third party since October with a Capricorn. Don't know what to do. So confused. Many times when we're wanting to be that person, we're also fretful that if we say, hey, my needs are for a singular union. Hi, Ashley. You get scared that they may not pick you, but you haven't given them that option. you know, but you haven't picked you either. What you're actually doing is saying, hey, it's okay, I've got compassion and understanding, and then it causes trigger points in the dynamic. And then you're arguing over that situation because the person hasn't left, when really you've actually said to them, no, it's okay, I've got compassion for you, I understand you can stay, but you've continued that, so there's no reason for that situation to evolve, okay? Detaching from it means they have to take accountability and make a decision. And so the only way that can ever be in a traditional movement forward is to let them resolve the situation and have faith in yourself that if they're wanting to be with you, they will be with you. And all you're doing is delaying and pressing the pause button on what's to transpire. There can be karmic ends on the 1st of March. Hi, Andrew. But providing you make a choice for yourself of what is, you know, correct for you. Okay. Yeah, and look, how do I put it? The lessons I've experienced, I'm going to actually add to the other channel I've got, and that's Twin Flame Alchemist to Union. And that's because as a twin flame, what you do tend to learn is the codependent patterns, the fear-based frequencies, and we hear about it in the twin flame journey. And look, collectively, we can all learn from it. We could look at it as a way to psychoanalyze ourselves and look at the reasons why we react and deal with situations. Regardless of being a twin flame or not, it's healthy to look at the reasons how and why we operate. We never own anyone, so if you have a marriage certificate, it will not change. If that person is not happy, they may leave you. That's the reality. They could get hit by a bus. Reality. Somebody could get sick. We never learn to live in the moment. It's very difficult because we have expectations, and expectations lead to disappointment. But the whole reason you are in love with a person is because of all their goods, the bads, and the uglies. It's everything. It's you energetically. You don't love a person to get something back. You love it because it's a vibration and a feeling. So through my lessons in life, especially within my twin flame journey, what you do find is if you loved that person and that other person made them happy, even if it pained you, you would love them unconditionally and accept that factor. And that's unconditional love. But you also have to love yourself too and say, hey, I forgive myself for knowing that I love this person, but I'm fearful that I feel they won't choose me. And it's again, when you look at it, which is the mirror, have you chosen you? Do you believe in yourself enough that that person would love you enough to follow you? And it's really maybe time that you can look on your side of the fence and love yourself unconditionally and say, hey, I am actually worth it. And if this person does have the courage to do it, great. But again, even if they do love you more than the other person, it's not a competition. What you have to offer to your life is love towards yourself. And if you can't give yourself as number one, how will they give you as number one? Do you know what I mean? I feel we already are with Chiron and Aries, because obviously our shadow aspect is Aries, and what I'm already feeling. So my birth sign is Libra. My rising, ascendant, etc. is Cancer. So that's the Capricorn. So I'm getting a double whammy both sides. So I'm getting the aspects of the nodes being in Cancer and Capricorn, and I'm also getting Chiron and Aries on my shadow sign. So what I have found for myself personally is I'm checking myself when I'm having trigger points. So they do come up, and especially because I'm back in reunion with my twin, what does happen, and you know, your trigger points don't come from that person. They come from you because you ended up being your karmic to learn these lessons. So, you know, what does tend to happen is when you're getting triggered, you actually sound pretty stupid. You're thinking to yourself, you sound like a little girl, Yildiz. But you're saying it and you're going, okay, no, I haven't exactly explained that correctly. Let me go back, really think about that. And I do find, to me, with the throat chakra, being careful and cautious, but I'm trying to give, you know, my partner the opposite correlating aspect of how it would make them feel so they can grasp my side. But they don't have to understand that. That's a me problem. But it's because there's been history in all of our lives collectively that we're bringing that to the table, and it's not their fault, you know. So it's about trying to work through the matrix. And what you find is it's not just your life anymore, because you're choosing to share it with another person. Somebody asked me the other day, oh, do they know that you're a TF? And it doesn't matter. Again, we're putting a tag and a paradigm on a person. So how they feel about the situation is very much theirs. And we won't know everything about that person. We don't have to know everything about their life and everything about their mindset, because, again, that's a codependent pattern. But, yes, I have had trigger points. So my trigger points have been connected to the past. And it's about me, really, about me realising that I've changed and I don't like being that old energy anymore. So you will find yourself with the Aries frequency almost being like a parent to your own childhood wounds. And that's really coming up for Libra, where you are checking in with yourself and going, yeah, let's not do that. And look, even when you do see other people and they're reacting similar to how you did perhaps years ago, you're actually not going to look at them with judgment. You're going to look at them like they're your inner child, and you will totally understand. But you as a teacher doesn't have to be, hey, you've got to do it this way. Because until energetically that person can come to peace with the situation and have the courage to leave a connection and not be in a third-party situation, that's both parties' kind of work to do, okay? I've been on many sides of the fence. I can't even tell you. I mean, I'll put it on the new channel and I'm going to do blogging on it. I'm also going to try, when I've got time, if everything in the universe goes according to plan, I'll do numerology and tools that we can use for our life to move forward. But, I mean, you've got to look at it from, you know, if a person is in a third-party situation, is it because of children? And, you know, again, childhood wounds. The person is staying due to the children. If you can't live for yourself, you can never be the best for anybody else. And that's really where we have to come to. You know, we lead by example, and it's no judgment whatsoever. It's more, if that person has a fair-based frequency, you can't tell a person to leave a situation until they feel vibrationally safe. But it's two individuals there that aren't feeling safe and trusting in the process. And, you know, so until one can be the catalyst to that change, the other is not going to shift. And if the energy is with you, then they will, in fact, then have to deal with that adversity. And what you're actually saying is you don't believe that person can deal with that conflict. And perhaps nor can you, because that's the mirror. Okay, my trigger the last few days. Yeah, I've had some situations crop up in the friendship zone, and I feel I communicate effectively. But again, you know, there was something that went on yesterday, and there was a comment on one of the videos, and I'm very mindful of the way I communicate with the people that jump on the channel. And that's because I've been in both zones. I've been in a zone of victim mentality. And when you're in it and you're healing, it's perfectly fine and normal to be feeling like you've been hard done by. But the thing is, if you indulge in it, you're indulging and manifesting victim mentality. So it's like you're actually saying and you're preaching. And that was what was coming through in the work domain, you know, for you guys is, and your finances, is be careful what you're communicating, because you're actually manifesting that. So if you're saying things about yourself or about another person where it's there, it's you're the victim and they're the perpetrator, what you're doing is continually manifesting that, where all you're ever going to attract are people that are going to use you. So when you actually state your case and you state it calmly and, hey, this is my position, it's for them then to address that area. But to live in victim mentality is not going to assist you with growing. And after a while, especially in the twin flame journey, when you're calling people and, you know, you're wanting them to hear your side of the story, but you're choosing not to evolve, you lose people. So, you know, in the high vibration, you lead by example. You understand, you have compassion, but you hold your ground. At the lower frequency, you feel you're spiraling, but you need to grab the steering wheel and do something about it. And it can be just getting a list and writing down small steps. And the suppression of the energy is something that actually directly liberates you. So sometimes when we're in victim consciousness and we're feeling stuck and we feel we don't have the money and we can't leave a situation or anything to that degree, and it can even be a job or a relationship, at some point you're going to crack and you're going to spit chips and you'll say, you know what, sod this, and it'll be a 360 and you'll walk out that door. Because you can't, when your spirit is growing, you won't be able to remain like that forever. So it's inevitable. Nothing ever stays the same forever. So, you know, victim consciousness is a temporary situation. People will leave the situation. People won't tolerate it. And you'll be fearful of leaving, and the universe will give you a solution. They will let that person leave you. And then you still have to address that. And then it will repeat its pattern and come back, because it always happens 3 times. So you get the warning. You get the aha moment, you still haven't done anything. 3rd time, the universe intervenes. And if you energetically are supposed to learn a lesson, it's going to repeat till you learn it. And it's bloody horrible. Bloody, bloody horrible. Poor Librans. And it's collectively. Look, it happens to the best of us. Any other questions while I'm here rabbiting on? Brecky? No more questions? If you are wanting to make a booking, yes, I do cover Twin Flame Path. I also tune in, and if you're needing to get grounded during Mercury retrograde, yes, I do emergency readings. You can touch base on the website and get a hold of me. Do be mindful, I do reschedule if there's been confusion. I'm a fair, kind person, but if I keep rescheduling you, I have other clients. I can't wait around forever. Okay. Yeah. Oh, don't worry. I still spit chips over things. But I do laugh at myself, and I think comedy is the best method. My twin's my greatest teacher. He gets amused by my triggers. My nephew left a dummy here the other day, and I'm quite a playful character, so is he. And I was on Messenger with my nephew, and he's 2. And I found the dummy, I washed and I put it in my mouth, and he looked very confused. And he, you know, tried to reach through the phone. The other day he actually tried to hand it to me. So my partner said to me, well, the next time you want to, you know, get cross, how about you put the dummy next to the bed and you can spit the dummy. The karma all comes down to us, Elizabeth. You know, if we feel that we need to learn something, we will manifest it. Anything I fed, I've literally manifested. Every single thing in my life that I was afraid of has come to fruition. So it's about not tuning into it. Prime example, when my daughter was younger, I would sense her coming down the hall. And I noticed that I would then go, oh, please no. And I'd think of something else, and bang, she would not turn up. And it's something, it's that quick, you know, that you can actually create higher vibration, lower vibration. So always pay attention to your thought patterns of what you're creating, because you will manifest it. Oh, look, but it's probably been ongoing since mid-January. But it's all the stability. It's the home domain and family and, you know, the emotions through the Cancer nodes. And the Capricorn is, hey, get your shit together. What are you doing? And that now we've got Chiron and Aries. And I mean, I know that, you know, when you're getting triggered, come back to yourself. What do you need to do on your side of the fence? Because come the aftermath of Mercury retrograde, we've got Saturn retrograde. You're not going to have that manifestation potential. So get what you need to get done now. Do the 5-minute tasks moving through March, that if you have some dishes to do, go and do them. Don't leave them for later, because I can tell you, you're going to have things coming at you. You've got paperwork to do. It's going to take 5 minutes. Go and do that. You've got an email to do. Double check it. You need to get grounded, emergency booking. And I am going to be doing a twin flame energy update as well as the per zodiac sign soon as well. I'm just trying to battle through these. I'm going to have a quick break and I will come back. And we will do, what else was there? Anything I missed? Yeah, you're really going to have to think on your feet, but I do feel that there is going to be something that's going to happen that's going to come 360 for you guys, but you're going to have to react. You won't have time to really get up in your head about it. You're going to have to react. Okay, so we do have Gemini, Scorpio, Cancer, Sagittarius, and Capricorn. See you on the other side.